Hello, I am Rico Cavella. I want to welcome you to this episode of Fearless Aging, where in every episode, my guests and I, we strive to offer you proven tips and strategies that you can implement immediately to greatly improve your overall health and well-being. So we're here to inspire you and empower you to become your best self so you can go out and make a bigger impact in the world. So before I introduce today's show and our expert guest, I have a question for you. If you're wondering how well you are aging, I've got the solution for you. Go to our main website, agelesslivinglifestyle.com, and take our free aging assessment. And if you don't like the results, you can book a call with me, a free call, and we'll discuss what challenges you're having, and I'll give you some quick and easy tips and strategies that you can begin to implement immediately, and we'll get you going on the right track. All right, so the title of today's episode is A New Narrative About Aging, Longevity, and Wellness, all my favorite things. And our expert guest, her name is Lisa Gunshore. She's a trailblazer in personal transformation, blending her roles as a tantric yogi, certified quantum coach, certified Ayurvedic wellness coach, and certified yoga educator to empower individuals to become their whole self and live their soul purpose. As a CEO of her own business, Lisa offers coaching for leaders in any industry, guiding them to lead with presence, conscious, and authenticity. As the founder of Buddhist Biohacker platform and the YouTube channel, Lisa produces inspiring, conscious content that promotes healing, self-discovery, and empowerment. And she also hosts transformational workshops, retreats, and online classes to help others embody their highest potential. So Lisa Gunshore, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
Yes, my pleasure. Well, as you know, I'm all about aging and longevity and wellness. So we're going to talk about what your idea is about what the new narrative is all about those. So, but first, let's just talk a little bit about your journey and how you came to do what you do.
Absolutely. Well, I started this work probably when I was a kid, as far as studying transcendentalism and meditation and mindfulness. However, in 2011, I had a health crisis. I got really, really sick. I had neurological issues. I had issues with my digestion. I was unable to work. It kind of just flatlined me. I wasn't able to do anything. And through that journey, I discovered that I had 22 food allergies, I had parasites, I had candida overgrowth, and Lyme's disease. So I was a big mess. And I had to do a lot of work within myself to heal myself. And I wanted to heal naturally. And so that was really what led me to Ayurveda. And then to the study of Ayurveda and functional medicine. And it's really brought me to where I'm at today. So I started practicing yoga to support my nervous system. And I'm happy to share, I cured my Hashimoto's. I lost 100 pounds. I actually was on the cover of First for Women magazine, which is right behind me here.
100 pounds? Wow.
97 to be specific.
Wow.
I'm 46 years old and I look great and I feel great and I don't have any of those health issues. And it's all through diet and natural herb supplementation through Ayurveda. So that was really how I got started. I mean, I was my own laboratory.
Wow, that's such a great story. Well, I'm sure many of our audience can relate to what you're talking about. So so we'll definitely get into. I think what would really be helpful is to talk really about all the things that you did to heal yourself and how you help other people heal themselves. But let's start just a little bit about some general information around our title, A New Narrative Around Aging, Longevity, and Wellness. So talk about what you feel is the new narrative about aging and then longevity and wellness.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, we're in this really unique time where we're doing things differently. And I think the new narrative is we can reverse our age. We can reverse our age through our diet, through our management of our toxic burden. And we also can do it through fascia decompression. Our body actually ages in a spiraled direction because we're on a planet that's spiraling. And that spiraling freezes our fascia, which in turn creates cellulite, our ribs collapse, our spines need adjusted. And so as we use things like yoga and block therapy, we can actually reverse our aging process just by opening up the rib cage, opening up the fascia, opening up the body. And so it's a holistic view, right? It's holistic because you want to have the healthy, clean diet. You want to have the right things for your body. And one of the things I do is genome analysis. And so I think part of this new narrative too, Rico, is understanding your own genetics. One thing doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's really, I take the time to understand your own genome. And within that, what is your dharma and your life purpose? What are you as a unique individual here to do? And what are you experiencing with your health? And how do we build a plan that's right for just you? Because every single person is different.
Well, let me ask you, I know, these days we can really decipher a lot of our own genetics, and so we can see what we're predisposed. But tell us, how do you do that? How do you look into a person's genome?
Yeah, absolutely. So I use a couple of different labs. So I work with Mosaic Diagnostics, and then I work with another genetics testing lab. So I do the functional testing, and we get all of the data. And from there, we can look at your genetic SNPs, SNPs. But essentially, it just tells us what you're predisposed to. And a lot of it has to do with what your body doesn't make. So for example, my body does not make glutathione, so I need to take it. Somebody else might make something that creates glutathione, and they need a different kind of supplement. So one of the things that I do that I think is unique is I don't over supplement. And in fact, I work with a lot of clients who are trying to reduce supplementation, because oftentimes we go to a functional doctor and they load us up, right? And so I do a lot of research for my clients and really look at how can we get that from food, so that you're eating the food as medicine to live. So for example, you might get enough selenium from 2 Brazil nuts a day that you don't need to take something for your thyroid. So it's really important. I do obviously partner with your Western medicine practitioners as well. So it's really your journey and what you're doing. And I try to do as much as I can through food and minimal supplementation, because I think sometimes you got to take it. If your body doesn't make it, it doesn't make it. You know, if you have trouble with amino acids, you might need to take amino acids. But it's getting that perfect balance of what you're eating and what you're taking to create the vitality and the energy that you need and want.
Yeah, that's so good. So are these blood tests that people can take?
Most of it is urine, actually. Urine and saliva.
Okay.
There is a dried blood spot test. And there's a couple, if we're testing cholesterol or thyroid, you do go to a lab and have them take blood for those tests. But most everything you just do at home and send it in. It's great. The company I work with uses insurance as well. So it's just a really great and easy process, and then you get the results, and then we'll go through the results. So usually what happens is you'll come to me for an hour-long session where we do an intake and just get all of your information so that we understand where we want to go. And I just want to share that, you know, I do have my book Enlightenment Pie, and I do have this great free gift. And in this free gift, which is my spring detox guide, I have in here a grocery list. And I'm sharing this around the testing because if you follow the diet plan and the detox list that I have here, you really don't need a test for things like candida. It's going to clear it out for you. So for those of you who are price conscious, like I have a lot of options for you to have support without doing the testing. But if you do it, it takes a couple weeks. And then we sit down and I'll make you a plan, and we talk about where we go from here and how to work with your own body.
And so you can do this virtually then?
Yes. Actually, okay. I'd say probably 80% of my clientele are virtual because they're out of state or out of country. I also have a local office for those of you that are in Denver, Colorado. I'm in Centennial, Colorado, which is a suburb of Denver, for those who want to do something in person as well. But I do work via Zoom, FaceTime, phone, any of those things.
Oh, really good. That's good information. Okay, so just again, just a little bit. talk about how your program and all that, how not only it affects aging, it affects your longevity, and of course, it affects your wellness.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing is, Ayurveda is the science of life. It's thousands of years old, and it is the science of longevity. So the idea of Ayurveda, you oil the skin, you oil the sinuses, you take in herbs that support you, you eat a diet that's appropriate for your dosha, which is your balanced elements in the body. And so it is about living a long time. When you think of the yogis who live to be 100, 110, 120 even, a lot of them are practicing Ayurveda. So it's about bringing balance to the body, noticing when your elements are out of balance. So for example, if your wind element is out of balance, you might be dry. Your skin might be dry, your hair might be dry. You think of those dry leaves like in the fall that are brittle. That's too much wind and not enough lubrication. And so you can counterbalance that with oils, oiling the skin, oiling the hair, drinking buttered coffee, right? Bulletproof coffee, like that is about oiling the body to support the brain. So all of those things, it's ancient practices and traditions that still stand true today to help you live a long, healthy life.
Yeah, Ayurvedic medicine. Yeah, that comes from India, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have also wondered. I know you. I mean, you hear a lot about the famous gurus who have lived a long time, but then some of them didn't. Like Yogananda didn't live very long at all. But you hear some that would live a long. But I always wondered, like the monks. All the monks that are all in the different monasteries. I never really heard. Are most of those really living a lot? You would think they would, because they don't have a stressful life and they do healthy and all that, so they should be. But I really haven't heard a lot about how most monks are living a long time.
Yeah, well, I would say the Buddhist response is it depends on their karma.
Oh, okay.
But if they're taking care of their bodies and their health, then yes, they should and do live a long time. I think, like Yogananda had a heart condition and he was living in the United States, and I'm not exactly sure what his diet was. He was a little bit overweight, and so just everybody has a different biological makeup. So
yeah. Well, I guess he was here. He did what he needed to do, and it's time to transition. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Well, before we get into a little bit more exactly some of the things that you really are helpful, that you're really an expert on helping people with, and who you really like to work with, I have a short message, and we'll be back in about 60 seconds, and we'll get into those things. So here we go.
Now, in just 17 minutes, you can get and stay fit and look and feel your best for life. This will be a life-changing and life-saving experience for you. Yes, it's true. Scientific studies have shown the Fast Fit 17 system is the fastest way to achieve maximum results in the shortest amount of time. This is a true fitness breakthrough. This system was developed particularly for busy people over 40 who know they need and want to get into better shape and have more energy, but feel they don't have the time. Now, time is no longer an issue. We want everyone to take advantage of this fitness breakthrough. So, for a limited time, you can get the entire program for only $17. So don't miss out. Order now at fastfit17.com.
All right, we're back with Lisa Gunshore. She's known as the Buddhist biohacker, and we're talking about all the different holistic modalities that she uses to help you heal with many different chronic illnesses. So I know you told me before we went on the show that you specialize in candida and parasites and that sort of thing, and molds. So let's talk a little bit about how prevalent that is and how people get that, and then what you can do to help them with.
Absolutely. Well, as far as candida goes, all of us have candida in our body. It's a natural organism in our body, but what can happen is the candida can overgrow. And the process of reducing candida in the body is diet and a no sugar diet, so that the candida can, leave your system. And you never really get rid of it completely because it's part of our genome. And you can reduce the inflammation that comes from it. And I would just say there's lots of information about candida out there. But the biggest thing is chronic infections, chronic ear infections, chronic sinus infections, weight gain, even diabetes. All of those things can be linked to candida overgrowth. And so that's something I've had to clear my body out and do consistent cleanses to keep it clear because I'm just prone to having candida overgrowth in my body. The second thing is parasites. So when I found out I had parasites in 2011, I had 3 different parasites, one in my liver, one systemic, and one in the frontal lobe of my brain. And I had to clear those out. And you do use herbs, and the herbs depend on what species. And we do a stool sample. So it's a fecal stool sample that we find out what is actually going on. And parasites are more prevalent than we think. And people are finding out that parasites are affecting them. There's a study that just came out that said 100% of the cadavers that they autopsied in this study that had MS found parasites in their brain and in their spine. So there could be a direct link to parasites affecting you neurologically, and they absolutely did to me. I had symptoms that mimicked MS, and it was very scary, and I'm grateful that I have a healthy brain, and I had to clear those parasites out. So it's worth doing the test because 9 times out of 10, my clients are shocked when they find out what they do have. And you get rid of them. Again, it's through diet and also through herbal supplementation to kill off the parasites themselves. It takes about 6 to 9 months to get parasites out of your system because of the way that their eggs hatch and everything. It's pretty awful sounding. So parasites is another thing I specialize in. And then the third thing is mold. In 2016, I got very sick again and had neurological issues again due to toxic black mold exposure. And so I've also gone through a mold detox, and mold is a big one that most people don't realize has affected them because of it's everywhere. There's mold in our food. When you think about canned tomatoes are probably the worst, by the way, because these tomatoes sit in big vats and they get moldy. And when they just scrape it off the top and they're full of mycotoxins. And the United States is the only country that does not manage mycotoxins. So if you go to France, there's certain products not even available because they have too high mycotoxins, where here we don't manage that. So I really teach and educate on what has mold in it so that you understand what to eat, and then work through the detox, which requires taking binders and using infrared sauna. It's quite a journey. So here's what I would say. I'm the detox queen. So if you need to get rid of mold, candida, parasites, or even heavy metals, if you need to chelate heavy metals, like that's what I focus on more than anything. My book, Enlightenment Pie, talks about the metaphysical principles. So one thing, Rico, that's pretty wild to think is, if you have parasites, it could be linked to parasitic energy in your life. You might be dealing with toxic relationships. You might be attracting people who are hosting off of your energy. And so it's usually a bigger piece than just the physical. So because of my work as a shaman and a quantum coach, I really work on the emotional components as well as the physical components. And that's when the true healing happens, is when we do it holistically in that way.
Yeah, that's so good. So I didn't know about the canned. I mean, I don't hardly eat any canned foods, but there are some little, Trader Joe's has some little canned tomatoes with jalapenos, and I've been putting those in my soup and stuff. So it's not a good idea. Any kind of canned tomatoes, huh?
Yeah, canned tomatoes, canned and jarred tomatoes are rough, like spaghetti sauce and all of that. It's better to make it all yourself.
If you can, if you can make it all yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so good. Well, so what are some of the other ways that we get parasites in our body?
Well, so the easiest way is eating fecal matter, which, as much as we don't want to admit it, happens more than we think. If people aren't washing their hands and they're making salads and things at restaurants, especially if we eat out a lot, it's bound to happen. So that's one way. Another way you can get it is through ocean water or lake water. So it's one thing to think about. Like, I lived in Maui And as beautiful and amazing as Maui is, one of the parasites I had that was systemic was specifically a water bug that you can find in tropical locations like that in the ocean. So you can get them from water, you can get them from food, you can also get them from, medicines and other things that you're putting into your body. So you really want to think about what you're putting into your body, because that is definitely going to affect you as well.
Yeah. And so
number one is fecal matter, though. Like number one is you've eaten something, you've had salad at a restaurant where somebody didn't wash their hands.
Yeah, it's if you really want to be healthy and eat healthy food, you pretty much got to make all your own food. That's definitely what I do. It's not that you should never eat out, but yeah, there's no question about it. Well, the other question, okay, I know at the end of the show here, we'll let people know how they can get your free spring cleanse guide and how to connect with you and learn more about all about what you have to offer. But in your spring cleanse guide, you talk about all the different cleanses for all these different things as well?
Yes, I do. I have in this guide, I have all of the things like what's best to eat. In here, I have a grocery list that you can download. I have what are the best beverages that are the cleanest for you to eat. And then I also have how to do natural detox. So I have your how to do lymph brushing in the shower and making your shower detoxing, how to tongue scrape is another thing that's in here. So, and then I even have at the back, I have a lymphatic yoga cleanse. So if you want to do some yoga postures to clean out your lymphatic system, that's in here too. And then I also have how to biohack your detox. So I talk about like how to use charcoal and binders and infrared sauna and things like that. So it's a pretty extensive guide that really tells you how to operate in the season of spring. But also it tells you how to start your cleanse.
That's so good. Thank you for that. That's really valuable. Yeah, I was just thinking it's springtime. I want to do a little cleanse, so I'm definitely going to consult your book. Yeah.
Yes, it's really beautiful too. I had a lot of fun designing this. I designed this. I wrote all the articles in it. Yeah. I have really nice articles about how to stay balanced for the season of spring based on the principles of Ayurveda. So.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Well, let's go ahead and say so. But we'll put it in the show notes too. But where should people go to connect with you?
Absolutely. So my website is BuddhistBiohacker.com. Okay. You can also go to LisaMGunshore.com. Both of them go to the same place. When you go to my website, there's going to be a little pop-up for the free guide, and you just plug in your email and your name, and you'll get the free guide sent to you digitally immediately, which is amazing. So you'll be able to get your free guide there. And on my website, I have everything broken into kind of two categories. So there's the functional Ayurveda. So for those of you who are interested in functional testing or nutrition planning, meal planning, you can go there. I also have transformative coaching. So if you're interested in doing shadow work, working with Jungian principles and self-inquiry, you can find that there. And I do offer a free 15-minute functional Ayurveda call for those of you who are interested and maybe you have questions about the testing or where you start. And I also want to share that I have a 90-day transformation package that includes 2 online courses, one that teaches you about Ayurveda and one that teaches you how to build a foundation of spiritual work with meditation, contemplation, journaling. It's 6 sessions, so you'll see me every other week for 90 days, in addition to the courses. And it's just a really good way, especially if you're interested in functional testing. It takes about 90 days to change a behavior, right? So it gives us 90 days to do the tests, to do intakes, to talk about your meal plans, and to help you so that you can really make a lifestyle change.
Well, that's so good. Yeah, thank you very much for that. So I definitely recommend, Lisa has a lot of valuable information, a lot of things that can be really helpful for you. So you definitely want to go to her website and check all that information out. Well, we've only got about a minute left. I just always wonder, how'd you come up with the name Buddhist Biohacker?
Yeah, you know what's funny is I'm definitely a biohacker at heart. I love all the data. I love figuring out how to really transform our biology. And I also followed the Dalai Lama for 7 years. And so I converted to Buddhism with the Dalai Lama. And so it just came out, Buddhist Biohacker, and it's my YouTube channel. It's my handles. So if you're looking for me, you can find me at Buddhist Biohacker on YouTube. It's my podcast name, but it just kind of combines that idea of working with the genome and also working with the spiritual and natural components of the genome.
Yeah, that is so good. Real quick, what's your number one biohack you think that everybody should be doing?
Oh my gosh. Number one biohack is probably charcoal. I take 2 charcoal caps on an empty stomach right when I wake up every single morning. It removes heavy metals, mycotoxins, and it's also a great hack. Like if you do drink wine and you wake up with a headache, take a couple charcoal. So it's a good feat.
So good, Lisa. We're just about out of time. Thank you so much for that. That was great. Thanks for all the valuable information. And if you like today's show, tell your friends about the Fearless Aging TV show, and we're out of time.